Hello my YouTube friends! You don't need crazy plugins or fancy overlays to have a great looking live stream. OBS gives you tools to build some really cool stuff right in the software if you know how to use it. So I want to show you the basics of how you can work with and tweak assets in OBS to make them look amazing and create some friggin' awesome layouts. So you know what? Let's get to it! Everything I'm going to show you today is right in OBS, so you don't need any plugins at all. And that makes it really easy for us to dive right into OBS. Alright, so any asset that you get, and this particular one is a camera, but it doesn't really matter. In this particular one, it is a display capture. But we'll start out with the camera. In any one of these, you can right-click here, or right-click on it if it's selected up here, and go into the transform. And you can edit the transform, and this gives you a whole bunch of different options. You can adjust the position, you can actually rotate it by degrees, so as you can see there, and it will rotate around the positional alignment, which in this case is the top left. So if we wanted it to rotate around the top center, or around, you know, some other location, we could do that. So you can see it's just kind of moving where it thinks that center point is. So we'll send it back to the top left. If at any time you want to just reset it, you can just right click, go to transform, and reset the transform. It'll put it right back where it was. You can set a bounding box, and you can align the bounding corners. Not terribly useful, but something you may want to know. You can also crop it right here. So we can crop it like that, and you see it just basically cuts off this side over here. Could do the same thing over here, and now we have a more cropped image. So you can do all of that stuff right here in the edit page if you just wanted to do it manually. Most people are going to go and right click here and transform and use some of this stuff. So we can rotate counterclockwise, we can continue to rotate it more, or counterclockwise. Can flip it horizontal or vertical. So let's do that and show you what that looks like. If we flip it horizontal, obviously we mirror our screen. For those of you who don't like to have your pointing not look right, well, that's the easy way to fix that problem right here. But as you can see, then we have some reading problems. So we can also flip it vertically. So there we go. And anytime we do something and we don't like it, we can just reset it. If you have an asset that is smaller than your screen, like if I go ahead and click the plus and we put a display capture in here, I can just select the existing display capture and you can see how small it is. But we can select it down here, right click, and go into our transform, and we can fit it to the screen, and it will automatically fit that to the screen in a way that looks right. We also have some resizing here, scale filtering, blend mode, and blending method. And these are different ways. For example, we could add transparency to this or make it look a certain way so you can kind of see what's behind it. By playing around with our blend mode, the reason why we can see through this area is because it is dark or black normally. So that's going to be the ticket to using that specific blend mode. Screen will work exactly like that. Anything that's black will be screened out. We can do multiply, which in this particular case doesn't do anything. Lighten and darken and all that sort of stuff. So you can use your blend modes for certain scenes and add some really interesting effects. Let's go ahead and put our display capture below our camera, and you can crop this just by using hotkeys. So I can hold down the hotkey and I can bring this in like that. I can hold down the hotkey and bring this in on this side, which is the Alt key. So if I hold down the Alt key, you can see we get these green dots over here, meaning that's fully cropped. So now I can mess around with it however I want. So I could theoretically right click and go to transform and fit to screen, and there we go. We still have the crop here, but it fits it in the best way that it can. So what we can do also, what I normally do, is go ahead and just expand that out. I don't really like the fit to the screen. So reset it, and we're going to go Alt. We're going to crop this out. Now you can obviously take any asset and make it as big as you want or as small as you want. So you can zoom it in. What we're going to do is I'm just going to go and clip it like that. And there we go. So that's kind of my standard view. That's how I come to this particular conclusion. But we can go even further. So I'm going to go ahead and hold down the Alt key. And we're going to go like this. And we're going to bring us over into vertical territory. And we'll just shrink this down. And we'll bring it over here like that. And we can crop it even more if we want. So we'll go something like that. We're going to put this over here. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and click the plus, and we're going to add a video. So we're just going to go with a media source. It could be any video. You could be showing video game highlights or sporting event highlights. If you were going to talk about that, I'm just going to load in a video here, and you can pretend it is whatever sort of video you particularly prefer. In this case, it's going to be some video game footage, and I'm going to go ahead and loop it just for the sake of this particular situation. And I can go ahead and crop this down here, put it like this. Maybe crop me up a little bit. There we go. So now we've got that. And let's say this is a sporting event and we want some ticker scores or something. Well, we've got it at the top of this. And now I'm going to hold down my Alt key, and we're going to crop in our little ticker up here at the top, which is going to give us all of the current scores for all of the games. Since it's pretty early, none of them started yet, but that doesn't matter for the purposes of this. And then we can come over here and just stretch it out like that. We'll just, you can actually use the arrow keys to move it a little bit, get it lined up with this, and there we go. Now you can actually stretch something as well, and to do that you're going to hit the shift key, and then I can stretch this. So it doesn't look good, of course, but you can stretch something by holding the shift key and moving it like that. If you wanted to just stretch this up like that, you could. So the shift key and just stretching it up, and there we go. Now it fills the whole area. Now I probably wouldn't do that. I would go ahead and maybe stretch it a little bit like that so it doesn't look so distorted, and then put a little bit of space in here and maybe add a color in there. I'd probably adjust this up. The point is that you could create your own unique layouts in OBS pretty easily by using the crop and pad tools that you want, and using elements from things like this, which is a web page, and a video, which can be highlights that you talk about from whatever game might have happened over here. So there's all kinds of cool things that you can do just using the crop tools and the stretch tools, and we can stretch out anything. It doesn't just have to be something like that. I can stretch this right here, and I can stretch my camera as well. So we can use those same tools on everything. And of course you could just right click, go to transform, and reset the transform, and it will reset exactly the way that it came originally. So there you go. Hopefully you understand a heck of a lot more about how you can play with the tools that are built right in to crop and stretch your screens to make some really cool scenes. I work really hard to try to create content that I think you're going to enjoy. And sometimes I hit and sometimes I miss, but it's really hard to know for sure. And that's where you can really help me out. If you're enjoying this video, give it a thumbs up. And if it's not your cup of tea, it's perfectly fine to give it a thumbs down. If everyone watching this video right now gave it a thumbs up or a thumbs down, that would totally tell me whether you're enjoying it or whether I need to try something else. And it really does help me out, guys, so leave those thumbs up and thumbs down right now. Thank you very much. Let's get back to the video. Is there a basic layout tool that I missed that you want to know more about here? Let me know down in the comments. Mastering the basics will help you build some awesome scenes right in OBS. And once you do that, you can add more flair with some really simple plugins like the stroke, shadow, and glow. I mean, that one was almost purpose built to be easy and make amazing scenes without any overlays. If you want to see how it works, you should check this video out. And if you're always looking for tools, tips, and tricks to help make you a better live streamer or YouTuber, subscribe to the channel. My name is Michael Feyrer Jr. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. And I'll see you in the next one.